Okay, it is January 13th, 2025, 6 p.m. We're here for the Common Council meeting here on the second floor of City Hall. Agenda's been posted, media has been notified. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Stephen Jopek. Here. Luke Kramer.
Here.
David Holt.
Here.
Gerald Anderson.
Here.
Bob Luter.
Here.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Here.
Leanne Felton.
Here.
Thomas Barnett.
Here.
Chris Hannes.
Here. We do have quorum. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to number 4, which is public comment. I have a Thomas Barnett.
Tom Barnett, 1410 North Stevens Street. I want to express my unwavering support for our inspections department. I understand the challenges they face daily and deeply appreciate their dedicated service to our community. Fire Chief Brian exemplifies integrity and honesty, qualities I deeply admire. I have the utmost trust in him and his entire crew to carry out their duties with fairness and impartiality. Similarly, our zoning administrator, Veronica, demonstrates exceptional capability and efficiency in her role. I want to acknowledge that none of our city employees have ever given me any reason to doubt their professionalism or commitment to our community. Therefore, I want to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to all of our hardworking departments. I see your hard work, I respect your dedication, and I thank you for performing such vital and often underappreciated roles in our city.
Thank you. Was there anyone else for public comment? Do any of the alders have any public comment? Nope. Okay. Moving on to number 5, mayor's comments. I have none at this time. Moving on to number 6, which is a public hearing. None apply. Number 7, presentations. None apply. Proclamations. Number 8, none apply. Moving on to number 9, which is the consent agenda. We have bills and claims. We have meeting minutes from the Common Council of December 9th. And then we have reports.
Holt, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Mikulowski, second.
Okay, we have a motion second. Any discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
David Holt.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek. Aye. Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Bob Luter.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to 10, which is ordinances, none apply. Moving on to 11, unfinished business, none apply. Moving on to 12, which is new business, 12A. Discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-1. This is a task order from Town and Country regarding engineering for Menominee Drive for this upcoming year's project. I'm assuming this is just for the design work and engineering work for the road.
That's it.
So I don't know if, Mark, you have anything you want to talk about on this?
The only thing I'd say, this is a not to exceed, and like every engineering contract we have with the city, you only get charged what we, the work we put into it. So if it's less than that, we'll charge less.
Cool. And just for council is aware, we did receive a grant for this, so I believe it's, what, $250,000 if I'm not mistaken to do this work, and then the remainder would be out of PrAP fund.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 grant. It's for $285,000.
So.
Barnett, I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-01, approving, authorizing, and directing the mayor to sign task order number 35 from Town and Country Engineering for engineering services for the 2025 Menominee Drive Improvements Project.
Is there a second? Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Bob Luter.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Aye. David Holt.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to discussion item B. Discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-2. This is a change order number 9 for Musson Brothers for the Oneida Avenue project. Refer to Mark from Town and Country.
I'll go through these work change directives really quick. The additional curb and gutter replacement, that's for damaged concrete, this 22 feet of concrete that was replaced. I had the contractor remove that. Somebody had actually walked through it. So we had them pull it and replace it. Concrete steps, that's an item that was not in the bid, but we needed throughout the project. So we had to get a change order agreement with the contractor to add steps in to match into. Pedestrian curb is a short 6-inch wall behind the curb or behind the sidewalk to help us blend in to existing grade. This was done around the courthouse. There's some around the courthouse, some on Grant Street, and then the last block of Oneida. We added some of that. The concrete crack repairs. This one's for the Holiday Station, the old Holiday Station, the Circle K now. So what happened there is their parking lot was in pretty poor condition. There's a lot of cracks in that parking lot. During construction, as the contractor pulled the sidewalk and the curb, some of those cracks separated. Nothing that the contractor could prevent. Once you move that stuff out of the way, it just provides a little relief, and that concrete will move around. What we would typically do for, say, a residential driveway, if it was in poor condition and that happened, we would kind of back it up and replace more of that concrete. In this case, because we're looking at the whole concrete parking lot, we discussed it with the then owners of the Holiday Station and provided a couple options for them. One was doing this crack filling, which they were satisfied with, but this was a special kind of crack filler that we had to go around the parking lot with. And they're satisfied with the result out there. So we did not have to replace the concrete. The reinstalled existing signal lighting, this was for the intersection of Lincoln and Oneida. If you remember, that was completed in 23, and we had to get that done June 1st of 23. That was also the back end of the COVID debacle and the material shortage. So those signal lights were on order, but they were backlogged. So materials weren't coming in on time. We had to get that intersection open. The reason we took the lights down and had them put it back up is we reconstructed that intersection. Part of that was we had to put new conduit and wiring for the signal lighting and new bases for the poles, and we moved some of those. So in order to get the old bases out, we had to pull the old lights down, get the new bases in, put the old lights back up until the new ones arrived. When the new ones arrived late summer, we replaced the new signal lighting. So this change order is for unexpectedly having to put the old ones back up, and then they had to pull the old ones back down and put the new ones up. Reinstalled concrete sidewalk for the Anderson Pelham signal lighting changes. So this was a change order that was approved by council a while back to add the cameras at the Pelham Anderson intersection. We had to replace the bases on some of those poles and add trombone arms. Because we pulled the bases out, we lost some of the sidewalk. In that change order that council had previously approved, it was for the new bases for the poles and the wiring and the trombone arms. There was no item in there for the concrete. We didn't put it in that change order at that time because we did not know how much concrete we would have to remove. So this change order just addresses that additional concrete that was removed for replacing those bases. The last item here, credit for damaged curb and gutter along King, some of Conroe. When they're doing the fine grading on the gravel before they paved, the new curb was in. The roller or the grader damaged some of the curb as they went around. There's some chips out of the curb. You can't see it because once it was paved, the city, as they always do, they come through and they seal that joint. They put tar in on that joint in between the new asphalt and the new curb. So it covers up those cracks and those chips, but we know that they're there. We asked the contractor for a credit for the damaged curb. They provided that. in the amount of $3 per foot, which we thought is appropriate for about 800 feet of curb. So all told, that change order comes at $26,033.12.
Be looking for a motion.
Chair Peck move to approve resolution number 2025-02, approving change order number 9 to the contract with Musson Brothers Incorporated for the 2023 Oneida Avenue Area Utility and Street Improvement Project.
Hold second.
Motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12C, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-3. This will be change order number 10 from Musson's Brother for the 23 Oneida Area Street and Utility Project. Mark?
This is a $0 change order. This is just for a time extension. This moves the substantial completion date to October 15th of 24 versus the October 27th of 23. And it pushes the final completion date to June of 2025. The reason for this is the addition of Grant Street. Grant, as you recall, was added early spring last year. It was completed in September. We did the final walkthrough on that in October. So the completion date, the original final completion date was for last year, in 24. In June, obviously they couldn't hit that date because we added the work and they went into October. So this is just getting the record straight with the completion dates is all this is.
Joe Peck move to approve resolution number 2025-03, approving change order number 10 to the contract with Musson Brothers Incorporated for the 2023 Oneida Avenue Area Utility and Street Improvement Project.
Mikulowski second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Gerald Anderson. Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Motion passes. Moving on to D, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-4. This is pay app number 14 for the Oneida project for just north of $250,000. Mark?
Yeah, so this pay request, if you go through it, you'll see a scattering of pay items. A lot of this is just balancing the quantities. So at this point, we've settled all quantities with all contractors. The meat of this pay request is a reduction in retainage. So per the rural development contract, we're required to hold 5% retainage until the project hits substantial completion. With the completion of Grant Street, they hit substantial completion. This is the first pay request since then. We are now reducing the retainage to 2.5%, so we're holding $170,000. So the amount of work complete, or the balancing of quantities, equaled about $83,000. About $166,000 is retainage released. Just so you're aware, just to get everybody kind of up to speed where we are on this contract, we're still expecting one more item to come in, and that's an allowance item for the new signal lighting. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to be about $50,000, somewhere in there. So we should be getting that shortly. With that $50,000, that puts this project $138,000 over budget, over the original budget. If you recall, we added Grant Street onto this, which was $423,000. So if it were not for Grant Street, we'd be about $260,000 under budget at this point. We are still within the budget for rural development for getting everything paid for at this point, so we're still in good shape funding-wise. So that all being said, the requested amount is $250,000. $479.94. I said that really weird, but we recommend payment in that amount.
So just to be clear, we're still waiting on roughly the $50,000 expense as well as remaining retainage to close out that project?
Yeah, that allowance amount will come in this winter. We do not plan on running another pay request till the spring. There are a couple punch list items. There's a control panel base that needs to be repaired in the spring, and then we'll check restoration items. Once everything is up to par, we'll have the final pay request. At that point, we'll release all the retainage, and everything else will be covered under a 1-year warranty.
Can you go into more detail about that control panel base, about repairing it? Like, is it for a light signal and
It's for the signal lighting at the intersection of Oneida and Lincoln. So what happened is when they put that control panel base in, they poured it out of level. So that control panel is sitting on there out of plumb. They plumbed up the control panel and put grout underneath it. But looking at it with Justin, we just don't feel that that grout is going to hold up long term. So we're having the contractor pull that base, re-pour it level, and set that control panel back on. So when they come in the spring, those signal lights will be down for probably 3 days while they pull the control panel. They're actually not going to pull the base. They're going to pour a cap over the top of it and set that control panel back on there. But the signal lights will be down for about 3 days while they do that. So the whole purpose of that, Mr. Mayor, is just to level out that control panel and get rid of that grout filler in there that we anticipate would be a problem once that cracks and we get moisture in that control panel.
is that an expense we're incurring, or they are for the work?
No, that's all warranty stuff.
Warranty?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Joe Peck moved to approve resolution number 2025-04, approving pay application number 14 from Musson Brothers Incorporated for work completed on the Oneida Avenue area utility and street improvement project in the amount of $250,479.94.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Bob Luter.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to E, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-5. This is pay application number 9 for the 2023 Timber Drive Utility Project for $329,954.91. Mark?
If you go through this pay request, you will see there's a couple items that we have some curb stops, some water services. That's just to balance out the quantities, working with contractors. All quantities should be up to date, less asphalt. So what we have is we've made payment on all the final asphalt based on the records that the contractor has provided. The contractor is requesting another $28,000 in asphalt costs. They're working on getting us that documentation. If they can't provide it, there won't be any more asphalt costs on there, but I anticipate that we'll be seeing some balance of that. So all quantities are up to date, less the asphalt. There is some restoration work that needs to be done by Farm and Fleet next year. The reason it's taken so long to do that is the contractor started doing some ditching work in between the driveways at Farm and Fleet and ran into fiber optics. We've been dealing with Charter for the last year to get that fiber moved. Until that fiber is moved, Musson can't get in there and do the grading work. Last I heard, that was going to be done last month. I don't know if that has been done at this point. But regardless, that should be done by spring. Musson will be back in to regrade that ditch, so we're going to see some restoration items next year as well. I would anticipate I would say worst case scenario, you're going to see about $40,000 more on this project once it's all said and done and we get everything wrapped up. If that's the case, we're going to be right about at budget, maybe a couple grand over budget at that point. So as of right now, the requested amount on this pay request, and again, you won't see another pay request on this until hopefully next year, unless the contractor can provide documentation for the $28,000 in asphalt. We'd bring that again as soon as we have that. But the requested amount is $329,954.91, and we recommend payment in that amount.
And just to be clear, so we're on budget roughly even after adding the workload of Town and Country picking up the engineering for this, since initially that was through our Public Works Director?
That engineering would be over budget,
So,
because it was not anticipated we'd have to work on it, but we had run a couple amendments to that engineering contract through council, and we're well below that at that point. We should not be maxing out those engineering contracts.
thank you. Mr. Jopek?
Joe Peck, move to approve resolution number 2025-05, approving pay application number 9 for work completed on the 2023 Timber Drive Street and Utility Improvement Project in the amount of $329,954.91.
Hold second.
Motion second, any discussion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Bob Luter.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to F, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-6. Looks like this is an agreement for weights and measures.
Well, yeah, and I was hoping Mark would handle this one too. You were on a roll. No, what this is this is reimbursement, or this is, so each year, Weights and Measures, we have a contract with them to come in and check all the scales, gas pumps, those types of things. And they charge us for that work. This is allowing us to seek reimbursement from the companies that had the service done. So, do I have that about right there, Austin?
Yep, pretty much spot on. This is just a way for us to recoup what we spend on that contract, since we are required, with municipalities over 5,000 residents, have to either do this in-house, or we can contract with the, it's a very long name, Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, and we have them do it for us. So this is just a way to recoup that cost of the contract. So they go out to each of these properties for a certain amount of time, and then we use that, how long they were there, to factor into how much we are going to charge that business for that time, for that inspection to be done.
Holt, I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2025-06, approving the assessment from the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection for weights and measures contract work performed in 2024.
Kramer, second.
Motion second, any discussion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
David Holt.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Bob Luter.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12G, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-7. So this is regarding a motion that was done at our last meeting. If I'm not mistaken, we had some dates off, so.
Well, no, our dates were right. They changed the date. So I've never had a resolution that amended another resolution. That's a first in my career. But basically, this is for the sewage system revenue bonds, 167, 2024, 167, you approved. Turned out they weren't going to be able to sell them till this year. So it's 2000, goes from 2024 to 2025. But we do need it to be amended. It's kind of strange, but.
Joe Peck, move to approve resolution number 2025-07, a resolution amending resolution number 2024-167, authorizing the issuance and sale of a $5,217,000 sewerage system revenue bond anticipation note, Series 2024, to revise the series designation to Series 2025.
Hold second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Bob Luter.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12H, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-8, which is pretty much a contract to control of beavers and beaver-related structures.
Yep.
I think
So
this comes like every year to council, if I'm not
every year it
mistaken.
comes to council. This is the folks at this at the USDA. They're helping us keep control of the beaver population. Starting when they do the dams, make the dams, all that stuff, it creates hazards downstream. This is an annual agreement.
Joe Peck, motion to approve resolution number 2025-08, approving a cooperative service agreement with the United States Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service for assistance with the control of beaver and beaver-related structures within the city of Rhinelander.
Barnett. Second.
Was that a second or just?
Oh, you can hit
Oh,
him
so
do the
we have
second.
a motion second, Mr. Barnett. For the second.
Out of curiosity, have we seen an uptick in beaver-related situations this year?
I have not.
You haven't?
I have not seen it, so, no, I know they have some work done, they do quarterly reports, and, no, I have not seen any, upticks in that, so.
Well, thank you for keeping an eye on it.
Mr. Anderson?
I'm just curious what they do with the beavers. That,
Gerald, I have no idea.
well, there are some people interested in relocating them to a place where they can be useful.
I could get you a number if you'd like, you give them a call. I don't know.
Just because I have a little bit of experience with this with land property that I owned that had beaver, it's more about the abatement of the damage they do rather than the beavers themselves. So it's removing dams and things like that.
Mr. Anderson?
I just wondered if the contract seemed to cover other kinds of problems, similar problems. Do we have any other areas besides beavers that we use this?
Not that I know of. I was still amazed we had a beaver control contract. So, no, I haven't. I can certainly ask, but I have not heard of anything. I think beavers is their main concern.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12I, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-9. This is a pay application for the Pelham Street station upgrades for $19,950. Mark?
This is for work completed. At this point, the lift station is complete. You're not seeing this on this pay request, but this pay request is for work completed through the end of the year in the amount of $19,500, which is an amount that we recommend.
When did you say you were, or did you say when you were expecting this to be completed?
It is completed right now. The lift station is up and running, so what they got done from the December 31st to now is they got the new control panel up and operational. They got the wiring and all the conduit in. They finished up the drain. They got all the pumps replaced. So the lift station is operational right now.
Restoration.
Yeah, so next year there's a couple things. Again, the control panel, as they were digging for the drain, the new control panel pad is a little out of level. They're going to repair that in the spring, and they have to do the restoration work. I would anticipate the next pay request will be coming next month. That'll be for the rest of the work, and we will hold retainage for the control panel and the restoration work. But for this particular pay request, the requested amount is $19,500, and we recommend payment in that amount.
Mr. Jopek?
The resolution mentioned in the packet says a total of $19,950. I don't know if I missed something in there. I just wanted to check.
That's what it is. What did I say?
19.5.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's
Okay.
19,950.
Yeah, the documentation in here shows 19,950, so it all lines up there, but I just want to make sure.
I think I said the wrong number twice, actually. All right, yeah.
You know, it's Monday. It's
My bad.
Monday. That's right.
Welcome to my world.
Any other questions for Mark? Mr. Holt?
I will make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2025-09, approving pay application number 5 from August Winter and Sons for work completed on the 2024 Pelham Street lift station upgrade project in the amount of $19,950.
Kramer, second.
Motion second, any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to J, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2025-10. This is to buy pretty much a lawnmower for the golf course. Turn it over to our city administrator.
That's pretty much it. It's a rough mower. The rough mower that we had out there last year belonged to Oliphant. And when Oliphant left, the rough mower left. So this is something that we need to have. Keith Sterone, the GM out there, got quotes on it, and this is the one that made the most sense and was most advantageous to the city. Again, I should point out this is going to be purchased in a similar fashion to the last two purchase requests you had for the golf course, which is basically an installment plan financing them. So,
Mr. Barnett?
And you said this is in their budget?
yes.
I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2025-10, approving the purchase of a Toro Groundmaster 3200 four-wheel drive mowing unit for the city golf course from Reinders for the cost of $28,811.45.
Mikulowski, second.
Motion second, any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to K, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2025-11. So this would be agreement between Oneida County Sheriff and the City of Rhinelander for the hazardous material response team. I'm assuming turn it over to Brian, our chief.
Good evening. So the hazmat team is currently housed by Oneida County, and in the past has been an Oneida County team. It's been made up mostly of Rhinelander firefighters. In the last couple of years, the numbers have dwindled for that team, and in order to keep it going, we've decided to take it over from Oneida County, so fall underneath Rhinelander Fire. And we'll open it up to, we've already talked to some of the neighboring departments, volunteers and stuff to help with this. So the team covers, it's a Northeast regional team, and a type 2 team means that we can enter and identify chemicals in a hazardous materials response. There is a need for that up in this area. If we don't take this on, we'll be waiting for a Wausau or somebody, or Ashland to come down, or Wausau to come up to respond to any hazardous materials incidents in this area. So in order to keep the team viable, we probably should take this over. Part of this is them, Oneida County in the MOU is them signing over anything that was state funded. So all the state funds that they've received, and all the tools and equipment and everything that was state funded. The only thing is, is that we have to continue to store that stuff out at the county building out on River, so, because we don't have room for it at this time.
So from a taxpayer point of view, what is the city gaining versus the cost? So I'm assuming there's reimbursement, so if there's hazardous incidents where they have to go out. So I'm assuming is this like a net zero from a taxpayer cost, but then the benefit of the protection, well, for the greater area, or how does that kind of wash there?
So it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. All the funding it's a state funded team. So we get funding from the state to purchase any kind of tools and equipment that's needed. And then as far as personnel and goes in responding, we bill out those services for those. So we get paid back for those services in response.
So pretty much no cost to the local taxpayer, funded by the state, and we're safer for it.
And we get some extra funding that we can use for tools and equipment and radios and stuff like that we can use.
Mr. Jopek?
Oh, how many of our firefighters would be on this hazmat team?
All of them.
So in the event that there's a hazmat call or something, would there be some kind of op plan for individuals to stay at the fire stations in case the city of Rhinelander experiences a fire emergency or something?
Yeah, that's a good question. So since it's a state team, the only way that this team gets activated by the state contract is if there's a state activation. So that has not happened since these teams have been built in the early 2000s. So we have had it where we have responded out to local areas to help as like a mutual aid thing, but even as a state team, if they call us out, we have a right to take a pass if we cannot supply the resources, or it puts us at a disadvantage in the city.
Perfect, thank you.
Mr. Anderson?
Does the state pay for training costs too?
Some of the funding, yeah, is training costs. It also opens us up for grants. Most of the grants for this program have to be written by emergency management and county emergency management, and they have agreed to continue to write those grants for that stuff.
I'm assuming there's opportunities for new equipment too, through the state grant process. And
Yes.
So,
Joe Peck move to approve resolution number 2025-11, approving a memorandum of understanding between the city of Rhinelander and the Oneida County Sheriff's Office for the operation of a hazardous materials response team.
Hold second.
motion second, any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
Luke Kramer. Aye. David Holt.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Kerry Mikulowski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12L, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-12. This is regarding two VFDs for a city reservoir for $48,720.
So Kurt couldn't be here tonight, but if you notice, there's a few things for wastewater treatment water. Kurt gave you some memos on there, pretty detailed memos. Basically what a VFD is it attaches to a booster pump, and it's a variable frequency drive. It can regulate how much water is pumped in, pumped out. So when you have a well it's being fixed, so it's offline, this can help to keep more water in the system. It's basically something they've been looking at doing for years, so it is budgeted.
Joe Peck move to approve resolution number 2025-12, approving the proposal from PJ Cortons for the purchase and installation of two variable frequency drive units for the city's reservoir for the cost of $48,720.
Felton second.
Motion second, any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
David Holt.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Kerry Mikulowski.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to M, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-13. This would be for the cleaning and repainting of the interior side of the Highway 8 water tower, which is over by the airport, for $165,900.
Also budgeted, Kurt gave you another memo on that. I got two quotes on it. The water tower clean and coat was the one that was most advantageous to the city. Basically with this one and the last one too, what this does, this won't be a right-of-way thing. This gets us on their schedule. So we expect this to be completed in the summer. So it's not going to be next week you're going to see them out there. This simply allows us to get for us to get on their schedule.
Barnett, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-13, approving the quote from Water Tower Clean and Coat for the interior repainting of the Highway 8 water tower for the total cost of $165,900.
Luder second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Mr. Anderson?
Are we going to need to do this kind of painting on the other tanks soon?
I don't know if we're going to need to do it soon, but it's a fact of life with water towers. You need to do the inside and the outside from time to time. So I would expect this to come up every other year.
Do we, in-house people determine that, or do we have
Kurt,
inspectors come in?
no. Well, Kurt would take a look at it and probably work with inspectors too. Would be my understanding. So.
Not seeing any other discussion, clerk, please take the roll call.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Kerry Mikulowski.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. David Holt.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12N, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2025-14. Looks like repair to some water treatment plant parts. Patrick?
Yeah, it was actually wastewater treatment. So after the December 9th meeting, Kurt came to my office and said, I've had sludge pumps go down, and they need to have these fixed. I need to keep them running. So in the procurement policy, and I cited it, and I also have it in your packet, there allows for emergency purchases. Not a huge fan of these, but because I'd prefer it go directly through you, but because we didn't have a second meeting, I authorized an emergency purchase, so that's why it's in front of you right here.
Joe Peck moved to approve resolution number 2025-14, approving the emergency purchase of sludge pump parts at the wastewater treatment plant from Mulcahy Shaw Water for $15,380.36.
Luder, second.
Motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12O, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2025-15. Looks like a service agreement.
Another annual thing that comes up, PJ Cortons, so we have an existing service agreement with them. We have this every year. So they'll fix things like the SCADA system, which basically runs your water. They'll maintain it and make sure it's up to date. Software, various implements around water and wastewater, they take care of it. So again, Kurt gave you a pretty detailed memo in the packet there of why this is necessary. I recommend that it be approved.
Mikulowski, I'll make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2025-15, approving a service agreement renewal with PJ Cortons and Company for various services related to the city's water and wastewater systems for $9,780. Felton, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on said motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Gerald Anderson. Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12P, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2025-16. This would be for a taxi cab company that wants to operate in the city of Rhinelander. Turn it over to Austin.
I'm just scrolling down. It's pretty simple. We did have the gentleman that came to the previous meeting. I think it was the first meeting in December. Speaking about his company, Advanced Medical Transport LLC, for them to operate within the city limits. Kind of how he described, they do require a taxi cab license, and that is presented in front of you.
Mr. Barnett.
So just as a reminder, this is a gentleman that was at the meeting who said that he would utilize his handicap vehicles to help with the share ride being gone.
Yes, that was what the gentleman was speaking to at that meeting.
I just wanted to make sure that we clarified what exactly we were talking about. Well, with that, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-16, approving a taxi cab license application for Advanced Medical Transport LLC.
We have a motion.
Kramer, second.
And a second. So just for the public knows, technically if this gets approved, they could do any kind of transport from a taxi point of view, correct?
Correct. They would have anything like Hoya Cabin Running was able to do. They'd be able to run that exact same kind of
Operation.
business.
So, any other discussion on the topic? Motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson. Carrie Mikulowski.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12Q. Discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2025-17. So this is actually a fun one. We've been working on this for a couple years, and this is a section of Davenport Street that is owned by the Township of Crescent, but we have water utility and storm utility underneath it. So they're looking, they got a grant they received, and they're looking to repave this, which roughly from Argonne Lumber out to the bypass. These improvements will widen the road, thicken the road, and make it safer. So what they're looking at is, since we own the utilities underneath the road, if some unforeseen issues come up that are due to the age or the structure, that pretty much we will handle that cost. Anything that involves with them changing the road, they will cover, but you know, if they open it up and find out a pipe's old and failing, that would be something we would have to look at replacing or not. But, so it's just kind of to iron out that understanding. But this is something to get them happy for they actually replace their road, which feeds into our city. Mr. Barnett?
So you mean when they find something wrong underneath?
Well, the utilities, they're only about 30 years old.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're not that bad, so we're not expecting nothing major, but you never know.
Do we have like a guesstimate of if things go wrong, how high it could go?
So if they do damage to it, we're not liable.
Right.
And then as far as with the road becoming a little higher, they're handling that cost. So at this point, we're not expecting really anything.
Okay.
So it'd be more once they find out, then we'd come back to you for how do we proceed.
Yeah, we've taken a visual inspection. Tom Rozier took a visual inspection of the manholes. They seem to be in good shape. Valve boxes, the same way. And speaking with Tom, he said, look, you know, if it's valve boxes or anything like that, he goes, we have some in the shop. It can be a relatively easy fix. So
Okay.
we should be set to go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ms. Michalowski?
Do you know if they're planning on putting a sidewalk in there?
No. So, per their grant, they had to build it similar to how it was. So they're widening the road, they're putting a bigger shoulder. They're also making it similar to a county highway from a thickness and quality. So the road will be in much better shape. But since it's their road, not ours, we can't really force them or ask them to do anything. Due to the grant process, at this point, it's not even an option to partner with them to try to expand for a sidewalk, but there would be a bigger shoulder to walk on, so slightly better. So, Mr. Jopek?
Just abiding by Murphy's Law, in the event that something is found, has there been any preparatory work of like where in the budget we'd be able to find funding to make sure that if something were to go wrong, we're not scrambling? Like, how does that even look on a timetable?
We would have to find money somewhere in the wastewater or water budgets. And I see what you're saying. But I with Tom telling me he got a visual inspection on them, being in good shape, I take him at his word. He's got 20 plus years experience doing it. So, yeah, so we would have to react somehow within the water or wastewater budget, depending on what's needed to be done.
Okay.
There's also not a ton of utilities in that road, if I'm not mistaken. It comes out on West Hill Road, then shoots down to the Davenport Street apartments. So that whole section they're doing doesn't have the utilities underneath them. The other good part is some of it's actually in the right-of-way, not underneath the road. So if there were issues in the right-of-way, we could, if you guys choose, hold off based on you're not tearing up the road. So, I mean, that dollar could be anything from $400,000 to nothing, you know, but based on the age of the utilities and what they're telling us, it's probably going to be nothing or very minor.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
So,
Joe Pike moved to approve resolution number 2025-17, approving, authorizing, and directing the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding with the town of Crescent for work on the West Davenport Street project.
Luder, second.
motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Luke Kramer.
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Bob Luder.
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Thomas Barnett.
Aye.
Gerald Anderson.
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Aye.
Kerry Michalowski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12R, discuss and/or action golf course appraisal. This was requested by Mr. Barnett, so I turn it over to you.
Yeah, I think even though the city will be running the golf course, that it's important that we know what the value of the golf course is. It's kind of foolish to go into business, which is what we're doing with the golf course, and not knowing what our business is worth. So I think, and I hope council agrees with me, that an appraisal would be a good idea regardless of the fact that we are taking over the golf course.
Ms. Michalowski.
If this were to happen, where would the money come from, seeing that it's already a tight budget for the golf course?
That would be your guys' discretion. Mr. Jopek?
What does the cost for an assessment like this even look like?
Do you have any idea?
Probably 3,000 to 5,000.
Mr. Holt?
I'm not inherently against getting appraisal, but given the timeline on how long that would remain accurate, I feel like with that kind of money, we shouldn't just do it to do it. That would, in my mind, be a prelude to putting up for sale or shopping it. And where I would fall on this is that it's not necessarily a bad idea, but my interest is in giving this at least a couple years of running it as a city department to see how it goes. And when we're talking about a horizon of, 6 months on the validity of an appraisal, I think it probably is a little premature.
Mr. Kramer?
I agree with Mr. Holt. I do believe that we need to have at minimum a year of it under our belt so we can see if it's going to start making money for us or if it's going to start breaking even. And then at that point, because the estimate would not be valid for more than, say, 6 months accurate, I think we should wait and put it on a future agenda, a year and a half out minimum, so that we can see if they are going to start making money out there.
Mr. Jopek?
I might totally be out of it. As far as the assessment goes, there's been discussions in the past about how we're coming due for like a property reevaluation community-wide. Where does the golf course fit in that? Will it be conjoined with that, or is it still something that'll be separate?
Super easy one. So any government agency isn't assessed. So any school district, county building, city building isn't even a factor into it. The couple things I would point out, just being in real estate, assessments are good, appraisals are good, two different things. So just keep in mind, appraisals is what an independent person thinks a property is worth. I could have 5 different people appraise something and they're going to give me 5 different answers. Now, they're going to be relatively close to each other, but when a bank gets an appraisal done, they're doing it for the best interest of their institution. 2, they do have a shelf life, so with the golf course currently, I'm not seeing a strong push from this body to sell the golf course today. I'm not seeing if we legally can. I think the proper procedure would be, 1, do we want to sell it? And if it's yes, 2, what do we have to do to clean up the title to be able to sell it or find that out, and how do we pay to get there? Then 3, look at an appraisal, how do we pay for it? So I think that would be a better procedure if this body wants to move forward. Now, if they don't, there's no point in spending taxpayers' money to get an appraisal on something that will have no value. So that's kind of my thoughts. My concern with this whole thing, and the longer we keep talking about this and it keeps kind of floating out here in the elixir, the more we start to kind of destabilize this market. Because people are starting to, you could ask the city administrator or myself, we're getting calls every day. Should I buy a membership? Is it going to be there in 6 months? Should I even apply to work there or plan on working there this summer if you guys are looking to sell it? So I'm almost in favor of asking you guys to make a motion to actually show your if you want to sell it or not, at least for a year or 2. Because I think letting the public know that, yes, we are looking to sell it or not, at this point will stabilize that market more. Because, as someone who had a membership out there, I don't know if I would buy one if it might be up for sale. That's kind of, it destabilizes it a little bit. So there might be a value of actually having a vote of, in the next, let's say, 2 seasons, if you plan on selling or not, or even entertaining. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it, but it's your guys' discretion. Mr. Jopek?
I know the item on the agenda says golf course appraisal, so I guess I'm going to say this, and I think it fits within the guidelines, but it's my understanding that the last couple years the golf course has broken even, or is it still going? It's still in the red.
I don't have those numbers on me, but I know it's close.
No, it's not really
it's not really that close. It lost money under Oliphant.
Okay, and, because like,
But you're also paying about anywhere from a $60,000 to $90,000 management fee. And, so it was losing money. I think we've got Keith out there now. I think we got somebody who understands that a budget isn't just some fantastical hypothetical number. He realizes that this is something he's got to live by. So he's going to run it different than Oliphant.
I guess I express concern about proclaiming my dedication to it without, and I don't know how you'd produce the evidence either way, evidence, because like if it is losing money, there is evidence there that we should consider it. However, I understand the value to the community that it can produce that we can't quantify. I guess all I'm expressing is in response to your request would just be, I would be hesitant personally to vote on proclaiming that commitment without an abundance of evidence to support one way or the other before putting my name to whatever vote on those lines. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's Monday. I'm tired.
For a follow-up, what about for the 2025 season? That way at least it stabilizes it for this season.
I think on the grounds that we kind of voted on with regard to bringing it back in-house was that we are going to see this year to kind of like work through it with the consideration that it could be a decision made in the future. I do understand what you're saying about destabilizing and creating uncertainty. For me, looking at this year and then coming back to this in this time next year, I would be more willing to publicly commit to something than if, right as it is right now, if I were to say, yeah, I'm fully supportive of this from a dollars and cents approach, it could be more dubious than a year from now when we have more evidence to show that we're trending in the right direction, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's, again, not saying I'm leaning towards selling or anything like that. It's just on the grounds of if someone were to come and approach and ask why I supported or didn't support, I wouldn't really be able to produce a whole lot of evidence one way or the other. And I would prefer to come from a direction of being backed with the facts rather than just I like nature or something, if that makes sense.
Yep. Anything else on this topic? Mr. Anderson?
Well, we went ahead and said we're going to run it. We've hired people and are in the process of hiring others to do so. The administrator feels that we have good people running it. It seems to me that in that whole process, we've made a commitment at least for a year, just because it wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Mr. Holt?
Yeah, I agree with Gerald here. I think that commitment has already been made, and it has been made for this year, this upcoming year. And any kind of optics of waffling on that are just kind of semantic. We've made a commitment for this year, for this coming year.
Mr. Jopek?
I guess to amplify that commitment we've made, we've already hired all the people. They're already starting to get things done. We've already, just tonight we approved the lawnmower purchase. And so people are getting things done. The golf course will be there this summer. And we're not discussing selling it right now. And I think that hopefully would be enough to offer some sense of stability for the golf course for the foreseeable future until discussions come up like they do every year with budgets and stuff.
So then is it safe to say at this point for the year 2025 golf season, this board feels that it will be operational, just for the public record? Or if anyone's against that, maybe speak, just for then it's known.
I'll speak. I think it's no secret where I stand on this, and I'm looking forward to a meeting with Nina Baum out at the golf course, because she tells me that she has a lot of great ideas and big plans that's going to help make the golf course successful. And I have always said, and I always will say, that I do not have a closed mind. I am not unchangeable. And if someone can prove to me that the golf course actually has a chance of making something of itself, then I would be gladly to change my position on it. As for this year, absolutely, yes, I will support the golf course in every way I can. I'm not going to waffle back and say that, you know, I'm in support of it 100%, because that's not the truth, and I'm not going to lie. But if everyone's looking for a statement from the one alderperson that doesn't agree, yes, I fully support the golf course for the year. It would be foolish and idiotic of me to want it to fail. And I hope it does succeed. I hope it proves me completely wrong. I would love that. But history speaks, and I'm willing to give it a shot. But I will be the first to bring it up again if it does not look like it's going to be going anywhere. So, but for this year and possibly the next year, yeah, I will do anything I can to help it succeed. And we'll go from there, I guess.
Thank you. Anything else on this topic? Okay, not seeing. Moving on to S, which is discuss and/or action vacuum truck for leaves. So this has been brought up by a couple different residents and business owners of just how we do leaf pickup. And I know Mr. Kramer brought this up based on, you know, people reaching out to you. We do have some information, but I turn the floor over to you first.
So I was talking with the person that brought this up to me. Their biggest issue was the thought of the elderly having to carry the heavy bags of leaves out to the curb, the people then taking, or our crews, taking the bags, tearing them open, throwing them into the back of the blower to throw it in the truck. It's a lot of one-use garbage going into our landfills. The other problem is trying to find clear bags. Why we're using clear plastic bags. There are other places that have the large lawn debris bags that are paper, which are recyclable. They're biodegradable. I did talk to these people this week. After reading Patrick's memo, they put that they don't think this is feasible for the city to do right now because of the cost of these large trucks. But I think it is something that we should bring out to the city just to see if they would, or if they really know why we do the things that we do. I don't think we were even aware of if the weather changes in the middle of just raking your leaves to the gutter, that can stop the whole sucking system for this vacuum. So if we don't want to discuss it, my constituent has no problem with that. But I do think I would kind of like to hear what everyone else thinks about the plastic bags, if it's something we want to continue to make mandatory, that they're in clear plastic bags.
So some background, some of the logic of the clear part was just from a public safety point of view. So your employees are lifting this to see what's in it when it comes to trash, to needles, to that kind of thing. So that's part of the reason why they did clear, just for that line of sight. Like much things with city government, it starts with initial concept and then it morphs a little bit. So one of the things, just as of today, Patrick and I were having a discussion, we take this debris and we take it out to, I believe, Monaco somewhere?
They used to, yeah, they won't be doing it anymore.
Not anymore?
Nope.
So one of the thoughts was if we could shift away potentially to the paper bags. That way you don't have the physical manpower of ripping open the bags, dealing with the bags, but then you still have the safety issue of what's in said bags.
And I spoke with Justin Ernst, the streets foreman, and basically that was his concern. He had two concerns. One was what's put into those bags. somebody slides a brick, some rocks, even big branches or something, that's not that's not the use. That's not how it's supposed to go. But the second one was he had a concern about how, if this thing has been sitting out there for a little bit in the muck and the wet and everything else, the bottom just going to come right out of it. So those were his concerns. But I did tell him, and I'll tell you too, every other community I've worked in where we had bag systems, I've never seen the plastic bags. That was a new one for me. But with the vacuum truck, I will tell you this: those things move so slow. I could walk circles around them, 65 miles a street. You're going to be doing it forever. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of cost. So,
Mr. Jopek?
So to clarify on the clear plastic bags, we have city employees that have to tear them open and dump out the debris.
Yep. Then they recycle the plastic bags.
And they recycle the plastic bags.
If I may, just because I do know what happens to these leaves. They do go to Birchfield Nurseries. Their staff are the ones that open these leaf bags and turn all the leaves into mulch that they sell. So they
like
are
all of it. Oh, I mean. Okay. Oh, man, that's cool. I guess with that in mind, if it goes there, would there be concern from them if the bags were paper from Birchfield?
That I don't know.
Like, would that be a concern on their end?
I haven't talked to
I
them.
think that would be a discussion and then something we bring back to you to vote on.
I guess that's where I would go. Personally, I've always looked at the clear plastic bag, like, why am I producing more waste at this point? Why can't I use paper bags? Which I do understand, like it could fall out of the bottom, all those things. From that perspective, if it's being lifted into the truck and the bottom falls out on it, it falls on the owner of the household to address that issue. I don't think the city should have to rake that up or something, but I do think some more exploration of this.
So I know in bigger communities, those same paper bags are used for grass clippings. So now granted, it's usually a weekly pickup, but grass clippings are a lot more likely to destroy a paper bag than leaves. But I think this is something we could explore more, contact who actually gets this product and see if they're okay with that and what's the cost difference. And then from there possibly come back to you guys with some solutions.
If I may, I'm sorry, this seems like something that's, I appreciate everybody's passion on this, but they're paper bags. What I can do is have Justin contact the nursery, find out what the issue, if there would be any issue with paper bags. Meanwhile, I can talk with Justin, have him get a report, and you know what? We'll buy some paper bags if they have some at Menards or Home Depot or Walmart or wherever, and I'll stick them out in the mud and the muck and the snow, and we'll see what happens with them. I think that's just the easier way to go than to make this into a thing that it really doesn't need to be made into. One man's opinion. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but why don't you just let staff handle it, and we can come back to you with a report. Would that work?
Yeah, because I'm assuming if we do switch, that would be an action by the body to what to switch to.
I always looked at it as internal, seeing as we don't sell the bags here or anything else, but what's that? Yeah, it's not really by ordinance either. I mean, whatever your pleasure is.
Yeah, I think, unless you guys are against it, to bring it back to you guys with the findings and go from there.
Justin and I will work on it.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on this topic of leaf cleanup / vac truck? Okay, not seeing. Moving on to 13, communications, none apply. Moving on to 14, future agenda items. We have short-term rental, which, just to let people know, that's still hold up in planning commission due to just not a lot happening, so there's not a lot of meetings happening in planning. And then we have the fee waiver, which, can you remind me more, Mikulowski?
We had talked about fee waivers, about the waiving of fees. I know that's what you wanted to talk about, was whether council should be doing it, or,
Would you just like that removed? Sure. Okay, so we're down to one item on future agenda items. Anything anyone would like to add, Mr. Anderson?
Well, listening to reports on the firefighters out in Los Angeles running out of water, it seems like we need to have a report now and then about the capacity of our water system. I'm not expecting a forest fire here or anything, but how close are we at times? And that kind of brings up to I think we need reports in order to look ahead on a whole range of infrastructure issues as to what is likely to be coming up in, a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever, that we need to start planning for.
Well, we do have a capital improvement plan that I'd be more than happy to get a copy to you. That's basically what we use to, for the projections going out. So be happy to have Mark Barden get that over to you.
And if anyone's got a giant check they want to donate, let me know, and we could solve a lot of those problems. Mr. Kramer?
I do remember what the fee waiver was about. It was about how the Common Council has been waiving fees for parades and picnics and stuff like that when we got rid of, I think it was like $18,000 worth of fee waivers. I do think that was what the motion was for.
So do you still want that on there, Ms. Mikulowski, or no? Okay, let me rephrase that. Sure as in yes or sure as in no?
Yes, we can talk about that.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for future agenda items? Okay, not seeing that, we come to adjournment, and oddly enough, on page 4, our next regular common council meeting will be at 6 p.m., January 27th. It is 7:11, meeting adjourned.